All right, let's dive into something that sounds a little strange, but makes perfect sense. We're going to connect a filing system from over 100 years ago to one of the biggest frustrations we all have in the digital world. This feeling of being constantly forgotten by AI.
You felt this, right? You're putting out great content, you're building a brand, but when it comes to AI and search, it feels like you have to reintroduce yourself over and over and over again. Your company's identity just doesn't stick. It's like shouting into the wind.
Well, believe it or not, the secret to making AI remember you wasn't cooked up in some Silicon Valley lab. Nope. The answer was actually found in a messy, paper-filled office way back in New York City.
So picture this. It's 1915. We're at the Metropolitan Life Insurance Company, and they are in the middle of a total catastrophe. But it's not a fire or a flood. It's a crisis of institutional memory. They're forgetting who they are.
They had millions of insurance policies, which means they had literal mountains of paperwork. All the information was there, but trying to find one specific document, it was a complete nightmare. Seriously, imagine trying to find one sentence in a giant library that has no index. That was their everyday reality, and it was absolutely crippling their business.
And here's the thing you've got to understand. This wasn't a storage problem. They had plenty of file cabinets. This was a recall problem. They had tons of data, but zero efficient way to access it. It was a massive brain with no way to retrieve a memory.
And this is where our hero, an efficiency expert named Lee Galloway, steps into the picture. He looked at this mess and came up with an idea that was, and I mean this, truly revolutionary.
Galloway's big insight was that the solution wasn't more paper or bigger cabinets. It was a smarter system. So he created a MasterCard for every single policy, and every document related to it was cross-referenced back to that one card. The index didn't hold the information itself. It was a map that led to the company's entire memory.
And get this, the results were just insane. In only 2 years, the time it took to process a claim dropped by 60%. Adjusters could find a policy's complete history in just a few minutes. The amount of paper was the same, but this new memory architecture, it changed the entire game.
And not right there. That's the timeless lesson from 1915. It's not about how much stuff you have, it's about how well it's organized so you can find it again. An organized memory is a permanent memory.
Okay, so let's fast forward 100+ years to right now. Businesses are facing the exact same crisis, just in a digital world. We're all pumping out content, articles, videos, posts, but in the process, we're actually creating a kind of institutional amnesia for AI.
I mean, look at this. The parallel is just striking. The 1915 clerk drowning in paper is today's AI drowning in web content. It's literally the same problem, which means it needs the same kind of solution, a system for organized recall. The fancy modern term for this is semantic endurance. But just think of it like this. It's about making sure that when an AI thinks about your business, it has a really clear, consistent, and permanent file on you. It's not just about getting seen today, it's about being remembered correctly forever. It's about building that digital card catalog. Now, this is super important to get. An AI doesn't actually save every single blog post you write. What it does instead is create something called an entity record for you. It's like a digital baseball card that summarizes who you are and what you do. So if your content is sending mixed signals, that card gets all messy and confusing and poof, your memory just fades away in the AI's mind.
So how in the world do we build this digital card catalog? Well, the modern-day playbook is called the Memory Persistence Protocol. And guess what? It's basically Galloway's logic from 1915, just updated for the digital age.
It's really a 4-step process. First, you audit your signals. Are you calling your product the X100 on your website, but the X-100 on social media? Tiny things like that completely confuse an AI. Second, you create a master index, one single authoritative place that defines all your core ideas. Think of it like a Wikipedia page for your own brand. Third, you build out your cross-references, linking all your scattered content back to that master index. And finally, you have to maintain it because your business changes and its memory needs to change with it.
So let's break that down. The audit finds the mess, the master index creates that one master card for your business, the cross-references connect everything back to that card, and the maintenance just keeps the whole system clean over time. See? It's the exact same logic from that insurance office, just applied to pixels instead of paper. So let's bring this all home. The lesson from that office back in 1915 is frankly more important today than it has ever been. In the age of AI, the structure of your information, the architecture, is so much more important than the sheer volume of it.
This quote from Curtis Witt just nails it.
AI doesn't remember what you publish. It remembers what you organize. You can scream into the void every single day, but without a coherent system, an organized structure, the AI is just going to forget you. Because real memory, lasting memory, requires architecture.
The whole game changes. The goal isn't just about temporary visibility, about shouting louder than everyone else. The real goal is engineering long-term discoverability by being more organized, more consistent, and ultimately just more memorable.
And that's really the final question I want to leave you with. Think about it. Is your business just built to be seen for a fleeting moment? Or is it built to be remembered for years to come because you've taken the time to create an indexed, cross-referenced memory that will actually last? The choice is all yours.